What's good, everybody? Lovely. So Empress here. My camera's a little crooked. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about some stuff. While I was away, a lot went on. Okay, so I feel like we should discuss some things. Okay, Spirit put it on my heart that we needed to talk about who's in charge. Okay, and so that's what we're gonna do today. I feel like it's gonna be quite interesting. I feel like in the last couple of months, I had been talking about a lot of changes coming up and how a lot of things were going to be happening and a lot of people were going to be out of their frequency. And I think that for the most part, you see that as being evident around you, okay? I should have looked up how many events have happened since the beginning of this year. But I didn't do that. I actually looked up some other things and we're going to be talking about that. But I am going to see what Oracle Spirit want. Actually, let me light some incense and some Palo Santo to clear the energy first. And then we will get into it. Okay. So I feel like this might be a controversial video. Just gonna say it. Okay. You know that for the most part we talk about what's good, Leah Lou, what's good, Copenhagen. For the most part, you know, on this channel we talk about our spiritual growth and, you know, expanding our understanding of self. Today we're going to talk about some other things that maybe have fallen through the cracks because there's just so much going on that, you know, you can't be on top of everything. But that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a look at that energy. Got the incense going. Let's light some Palo Santo. And we're going to talk about some conversations that maybe or maybe not you're not aware have occurred. Okay, and I think it's important news that we should, you know, thank you so much. Thank you. We need to, you know, stay abreast of, you know, things that are going on globally, right? So let's talk about it. So everybody, I'm sure, you know, globally has heard about the school shooting. Flag, right? They're gonna flag. But you know, 21 people lost their lives, 19 of them were children. And the event, you know, if you do your research, sounds real skeptical, you know. A lot of people encountered the shooter prior to him actually getting into the school. It doesn't make sense why he wasn't stopped, why it took them so long to go in, yada, yada, yada. That's not what this video is about. I wanted to talk to you guys because, you know, we had done a couple readings and Spirit was basically saying that there were going to be things that were going to distract us. Now, I am not one of those false flag people. Okay? I don't believe that, you know, those children are not gone. Okay? That level of grief, you don't fake. Okay? I think that's all bullshit. Of course, thank you, Shamika. I just want to put that out there. You know, that's a tragedy. 19 children, 2 teachers. Okay? I don't want to in any way bring any additional pain to those families or add to, you know, all the things that have happened with that situation. What's good, Tara? But what we are going to talk about is what else happened that week. What else happened that week while everybody was paying attention to this mass shooting? Because that's where the meat is at, okay? So from, I believe it was May 23rd to the 28th, there was a very important global event that was happening. And it is, this event was the World Health Organization. What's good, Cynthia? The World Health Organization was having a summit with its members, global summit regarding pandemics, epidemics, outbreaks, right? So while we were all being very mindful of what was happening in Texas, there was some other things that was happening that maybe didn't hit the front news. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so I'm going to get a deck. Let's start with the mystical Martians. Because I feel like that's correct. That's correct, Lealoo. I feel like we need to have a conversation. So it was brought to my attention that the World Health Organization was having this summit, and that there were several amendments that was written by the U.S., promoted by the U.S., and backed by other nations and other board members of the World Health Organization to implement basically a World Health Plan should another event like COVID happen. Okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I should have looked up what was the outcome of that, but I didn't get a chance because this only came to me at 11 o'clock and I'm sitting in the chair at 11:30 already doing the reading for you guys. But, you know, China had another breakout some time again. Thank you so much. Some time ago. Okay, and Shanghai had gotten shut down by the World Health Organization, right? And this the inhabitants of Shanghai were complaining that they couldn't leave their homes, that they didn't have food and sustenance, that deliveries weren't being allowed into the city, and that they feared that even though they, you know, are pretty, you know, strong nation, that they might starve in their homes. Now, I believe that they lifted it on them already, but that's not the point. Okay, and hopefully, you know, they're all fine. Okay. Right, Terra Hotlanta. So I felt like we should discuss it because my understanding is that what they agreed upon between the 23rd and the, what was it, the 22nd and the 28th was that in the case of another pandemic, it would not be individual nations making the decisions about shutdowns and regions and vaccines. No, it would be the World Health Organization, and it would be governments giving over their constituents or their population sovereignty over their health to an organization outside of the country in which you reside, okay? So you should look up, because, you know, a lot of people see these videos around the world, look up and see if your country is part of that organization, because the likelihood means that if another pandemic were to occur, that they could forcibly impose a certain criteria over nations. Now, when I was looking this up, I also looked up who are the heavy donors to this organization. And the top donor was, of course, the United States. But the second top donor was Bill Gates. Gonna leave that there. All right, you got the shadow self, denial, projecting, shame. And I feel like, there's some denial going on here. There's some shadow work going on here. I feel like, in a certain sense, in my opinion, okay, because everything that I've said to you up until this point has been fact. Now I'm going to say my opinion about something. I feel like this problem began here because we had a large population that, refused to comply with like simple things like wearing masks or whatever, which I thought was a little short-sighted. I felt like, even if you feel your own health is strong, you should be courteous, whatever your beliefs are, wear the damn mask just in case, you could be around somebody who's elderly or have other symptoms that they could, something could happen to them, right? I felt a little differently about the injections. I feel like people have the right to accept or decline. I had my vaccination. I'm open about that. Okay. But what I don't like is mandatory type situations. Okay. So you got outer boroughs here in reverse. What's good, Tamila? And it says infinity, eternal, past life. Okay. So I feel like, with that being in reverse here, there's something that they're trying to put an end to. And they're trying to put an end to a continuation of something or a lessening of something. Okay, it could be population. All right, now you got number 24, Venus in reverse. Romance, soulmates, empathy. And I feel like empathy is the key word here. I feel like the empathy, first off, there's a great awakening. Okay, there's a great awakening. And all the empaths are being triggered, right? We're having these downloads. Now, how do you stop that, right? You have to cause some type of division. Okay, especially with this, it says romance, soulmates, and empathy. You have to stop people coming together and spreading this message of love, Venus in reverse, okay? Because love beats everything, right? So if they can divide, that's always, an indication. You have here Alpha Centaurians, foresight, planning, and strategy in reverse. Two messages I'm getting with this. The first is that they botched the whole first round. They botched it because the orange guy, right? And, he had a separate motives, okay? He was telling people to drink bleach. Meanwhile, he had the shot, right? So that's one. They botched the coming out. Secondarily, I think there was certain populations. I think that people need to start looking at this a little bit differently. Right? You don't know, like, they exploited people's fear. Right? So I'm just because I'm not trying to be a proponent for or against. I'm giving you, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Okay, let's just say that it was as bad as they thought. And the dissemination of information for people not to take the injection was based on the fact that they wanted certain populations to be unprotected. See, you gotta look at shit from both ways. Okay, maybe they knew that, certain populations would be more leery than others. for certain things that have happened in the past, right? So that's one. Two, it could be that, you know, they were trying to use a blanket pandemic to, what's good, Crystal? A blanket pandemic to address some other populations that they wanted to target themselves. That's a fucking possibility too. I'm not here to, you know, to sway you from your opinion. That's not what this reading is about. But I feel like now that they hit so much resistance with addressing a situation, right? That I feel like this is why they went to the World Health Organization. Because I don't know, I can't speak for other countries, right? But there became a deadlock here in the States over, you know, the political parties opposing each other. And so by giving this permission or this power outside, they can always say, I had no choice. Okay, this is something that was already implemented and we have to abide because we're a member, right? So they could be looking for someone to blame, right? Deniability, right? And that could have been brought upon by, you know, disinformation and people, you know, arguing amongst each other. That's like the best way that you could look at it, right? But it also means that they've already given this power away. So while we were paying attention, and I am not, you know, undermining or belittling what happened in Texas, fucking horrendous. Pay attention, because they gave away the sovereignty of the health of the citizens, okay? Mantis beings in reverse. And it says enigma, elusive, sensitive, right? Elusive, enigma. Because who is the World Health Organization, right? Who's the board members? Who backs this? What are their intentions? What is their real, and what the fuck does Bill Gates have to do with the World Health Organization? Okay, and then you got Arcturians, feeling safe, wisdom keepers, and concern. I feel like there are a lot of people, including me, a lot of people who were activated, who are very suspicious right now about what the real agenda here is, and about how there is a mass awakening and how people are actively pursuing decalcifying their third eye and retaining wisdom, regaining wisdom. And this is gonna take away the ability of those wisdom keepers who have been keeping this at bay. They're gonna be concerned, right? They're gonna be concerned because there's this awakening happening. Now, y'all know when I say this shit gonna get flagged. But listen, this is why Spirit brought me here. Sometimes we're talking about growth, and sometimes I'm telling you to keep your fucking head on a swivel. And this is one of those times. Everybody should have a passport. Everybody should have a passport. Everybody should have a passport. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Tara. That's my point. That's my point. Do that. Everybody needs to keep their passport on go. Man holding a heart at the bottom of the deck. Okay, wait a minute. Let me read this. Yeah, there are a lot of strange things, testings, and things happening around globally. Okay, so let's talk about what came out here. You got appreciation in reverse. I feel like, you know, they knew that this decision would not be viewed as positive, okay? One of the things that the states here is freedoms, or at least the illusion of such, right? So they knew that that wasn't going to be a big hit, right? Then you got Healer of the Ages. I feel like the Healer of the Ages is all of us. I feel like this is talking about the age of Aquarius and how people are waking up, okay? How people are starting to take notice of what they're putting in their body, what they're thinking, what they're watching, what they're listening to, who their circles are. People are really trying to tap in, right? And that this is going to bring a cornucopia of abundance. What if, you know, through this tapping in and this a great awakening, we realize that we're not really missing things from, you know, the lack mentality will leave because you will discover that you have all within you, right? And then you tap into real abundance. So there's not this reliability that we have had since the birth of this, you know, nation. I can't speak for other nations, right? Angel of strength, right? And here's the divine feminine. You know, most of the people awakening are the feminines, right? And the inner warrior and the return of the divine feminine energy and bringing this massive change, and the magician in the mirror, right? And then who are these magicians in the mirror? And what if they feel like that, you know, we're getting too close to seeing things as they are, right? And then this man holding a heart, is he compassionate? Or is he trying to seize the heart and use fear, right? Because this journey is already underway. Number 2, soulmate, right? And I feel like the soulmate is like your higher self, the all, the Christ consciousness, right? And can't have everybody getting on this this journey, because then, you know, they don't have control. And, you know, everyone's going to the goddess of the moon and manifesting, right? And the contract, the soul contract is starting to be remembered, right? And the woman holding a coin and recognizing their power, right? And look who's brokenhearted, right? Because the third chakra, the solar plexus, where action happens, you know, they're going to lose control, right? Indecision. They got to cause confusion, right? Got to keep people all tied up, right? Because the door to personal happiness has been swung open and they're losing grip on the anxiety, right? Only those lower frequency beings are under control. Okay? Then you got second chakra, Archangel Ariel, right? Sacral chakra. How do we get people stuck in their, you know, in the desires and the urges and keep them in a more low vibration, rather than having them using their third eye and following the soul contract? Got to do something. Got to do something, right? Maybe target mothers, Where it hurts with the angel of balance. Look at the baby. Okay? Why? To shut that door to spirit. Came out in reverse. All the other cards are in the upright. Right? Just food for thought. Not saying that that's exactly what it is. What I'm saying to you is that you should be mindful. You should be mindful. You know, here's another one for you. I wish I would have thought about it because I would have researched it myself. But maybe somebody could take a look while we're here, right? There are certain, you can pull up who donates, like who are the top contributors to the health organization, and it'll show you the countries, right? And then look up, Spirit, give it back to me. Then look up which countries, if those same countries are the countries that are on the Georgia stones. Okay? Are y'all familiar with the Georgia stones? I know I spoke briefly about it, but nobody knows who put them up. And they're talking about surviving populations, and it's not a lot, okay? And they're in Georgia, right? So are those the same nations? I would love to know that. I would love to know that. Divine Sun Child. You know, there has been a lot of activation with the Sun, blessing of the Sun Falcon, right? I feel like the masculines are also being activated. Okay, you have Divine Guardian, protection of the winged mother. I told you that the Divine Feminine was returning, and this is why all of this is happening. You got Pyramid of Light, step your vibration deeper into love. I also told you that expect the pyramids to be activated in some way. During this time that I was away, I also saw an article, actually several articles, about some type of structure that was found at the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle. Some people think that that pyramid or that pyramid-like structure could be a remnants of Lannis, right? And I've been talking to you guys about the melting of the poles and the global warming. And what if this activates the Earth's chakras? You also in the time had an opening that was found, I believe, in China, of a whole ecological system that was in a cave. It's like an ecological system. In an ecological system, they have the hugest trees you ever seen growing in there. That could be the opening to Agartha. Listen, y'all need to do some research because they're dropping gems, but they're dropping it on page 3. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to see it like up in the front. Why the fuck is that? Okay, divine destiny, because they're trying to prevent something that is already destined to happen. Path of the divine warrior. And if you see, that is a feminine, not a masculine. Right? What's really happening here? What is the agenda here? What are they talking about here? Are they trying to implement some type of way of giving people some type of mass medication that can be used to prevent some type of illness, but also could be calcifying people's third eyes? I'm just gonna say what I think. Calcifying people's third eyes so that they can continue keeping control. Can we talk about it? I'm just making some space, guys. Okay, so I feel like, you know, I feel like that they take advantage of the fact that most people don't really read newspapers anymore or things like that, right? I feel like, again, write all your phone numbers down on paper instead of just saving them in the phone, because I feel like, you know, there's a lot of dissemination of information that is contrary to what they want, just like how I got the information, right? It's contrary to what they want. And it feels to me like, how do you stop a mass awakening where you're trying to put out a particular message and the population is spreading their own message? Well, how would you do that? You would have to bring down the form of communication, right? So what I'm saying to you is, could it be that by the end of this year, they feel that the communication that people are having and the way that we're disseminating information in between us is now problematic, and that they would want to do something about that? Feel like we need to pay attention. I feel like we need to pay attention. Thought something else turned. Okay, I feel like the first card that came out here is the Hermit in reverse. How do you get the mass public to stop this? What does the Hermit do? Go within and follow the lantern, follow spirit, right? How do you stop that? How do you make the population fearful? How do you get them to, you know, people have been going within. People have been pulling away from others, and they wanted that to in the beginning, right? But what did we do with the time, right? We did a lot of investigation. So dreams about flying is about astral travel, okay? That could be your new gift, okay? Astral projection, okay? Very common. So those of you that are experiencing that now, that's what it's telling you, okay? Now, you got the Hermit in reverse. I'm telling you that the question here is how to stop people's ascension. Okay, and the Eight of Wands and how they're communicating, right? Let's get a deck to clarify some of these, because we've got some interesting cards out here. Spirit, why is the Hermit out here in reverse? Why is the Hermit out here? Star, right? Because people are following their soul path, right? People are following their soul path. And, you know, this isn't, you know, it goes against the type of control that they want. It goes into, you know, love and peace. And you know, it's hard to control people when they're in that frequency, okay? Because they're resonating with what is true. And you have the Eight of Wands, passionate communication with the Empress, the divine mother, the divine feminine, right? And the Seven of Wands, and her putting up healthy boundaries and protecting herself, right? And the Judgment. And how do you prevent this from happening, from making final decisions? And they're all ascending, and you see this one person over here who has lost control, right? And it affects Pentacles, right? And what if you don't need their Pentacles anymore? What if you found new ways to support yourself under these conditions and you're finding multiple ways of income and you no longer need them to survive, which is where we're headed. That's the truth. Okay? Two of Wands, and then this group of gentlemen, okay, who are in power, need to find a new way to retain power. So they're going to send different people. You see that? This is the guy. See him sending different people. These are all wearing top hats. How do we keep control, right? Because the 10 of Wands, right? We got to create some kind of burden, some kind of situation with the Two of Swords that they don't see coming. That they don't see coming, right? That will turn the wheel in our favor and have them miss an opportunity that was right there. They had it, right? How do we get that to happen? Because we're going to lose control if we don't find a way, right? And then you have the Knight of Cups. We have to make it seem like we're doing something for them. We're offering them something, right? With the Six of Cups, right? We need to seem like we're offering something that they need so that they'll return to us with the Six of Cups, right? And they'll be sorry they left too. I'll never leave again because, you know, I should have listened, right? It's at a graveyard. People will be in so much grief. They'll just be looking for help. Right? Nine of Swords crossed, a perpetual state of anxiety. And then Big Brother can step in. Don't you worry, little guy. I got you. But what comes out? The Devil. Keep them in fear and toxicity and codependent. Right? If they're heartbroken, if they're crying over lost children, if they're crying over no formula, if they're crying over food shortages, if they're crying over, you know, I don't know if y'all saw it, monkeypox. Monkeypox. Then, you know, people are easier to control, correct? And then here's the Page of Cups. Spirit, why? Page of Cups with the Nine of Wands, right? They're going to say, and I'm going to give you my personal opinion on the first situation that happened. I personally believe that was a real vaccine. I personally believe that was a real vaccine. I personally believe that they were going to add things later. Once they realized that they, you know, they were gaining some type of situation, some type of control. And I feel like, you know, all the things that were added, like the boosters and things like that, that's where you need to be cautious, okay? And the Four of Wands in reverse, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all before I even finish saying this. I took my vaccine, but I also live in a community that I know that wouldn't be targeted. And if they're offering them in every community, you know, maybe you should look up the zip codes that have the complexion for the protection and go take your vaccine over there. Okay? Just me, but whatever, right? Page of Cups. Oh, we're so sorry. You know, in our need to want to protect everybody with the Nine of Wands, you know, there were some errors made. There was some traumas. You know, yes, we lost some people, but it was, you know, for the greater good. You know, with the Four of Wands in reverse. And, you know, the recession and the money and people going to be, you know, homeless because they're not going to have to choose between gas and food and rent and mortgages. We're sorry. We didn't know this was going to be, you know, a side effect. Okay? Another sidebar. On Sundays, and I've told you guys this before, on Sundays is my research day. Okay, Sundays is my research day, and one of the astrologers that I like to listen to when I'm looking at, what's coming in for us is Nadia Shaw. She is an excellent astrologer. She's just into astrology. She's not political. She doesn't do any of that shit. Okay? Yesterday, when she was talking about the weekly energy, and you guys could go look at it, Nadia Shaw, okay? She said that she was in Ecuador. They have no gas shortage. They have no gas inflation. And people were filling up their tanks for $14. So basically, in the nations that have seen the increase, it's price gouging. Okay, this is to put us in fear, to suck out the money back. Pay attention. Okay? Four of Wands in reverse. People won't have money to do the things that they have to do. Now you got the Page of Pentacles. But don't worry, we're gonna provide some opportunities. We're gonna give you a tangible offer for a new beginning. It's not really over, right? We're gonna give you something. Maybe we'll give you, like a stimulus check every month, or you'll end up working in some job that you don't want to work, but you'll have to take such and such requirements and fill out these things. But it'll be way less than what you had before. And no, we're not going to raise the minimum income. And you just be, robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? And here's the Six of Wands crossed. It'll be just enough to stay afloat, not for a victory. You'll always be left out in the cold, right? And then you have the Emperor crossed. Right? Controlling, manipulative, but this is also the entrepreneur. So they're going to target them next. Can't let them feel like they got away with something, right? High Priestess, right? We've been silent and giving them PPP loans, and right? We got to figure out something to get them stuck, because my daughter called it what? The mass resignation, or the great resignation, right? So we had the great awakening, the great resignation. At the same time, they got to figure out a way to get these people to fall back in line, right? People like me who took that time and decided to open businesses, right? Got to get them to fall in line. Hangman, right? Because they've been building methodically, right? With the Queen of Cups, right? Got to get them in their emotions. Make them feel fear. Seven of Pentacles, make them feel lack, right? Seven of Cups at the bottom of the deck, causing some illusions. So that this guy, the King of Wands, can take some action, right? And then who's behind him is the High Priestess. They're silent players. With the Lovers, right? If they can't see clearly, we can, persuade persuade their decision making, right? And the Two of Wands. And what if we can make both the choices to our favor? With the King of Wands. Why, Spirit? So that they can't be financially independent. That was quick. Right? And the Two of Pentacles. And we'll always keep them juggling between gas, rent, school, right? Knight of Cups, but it's all for your protection. Us do anything wrong to you? Why would we do that? We love you. This is just for the future. Deception. Ten of Swords. Knight of Wands coming through and fucking shit up. Then later they can be like, oh, you know what? We were just trying to respond to this demon that was spreading and we needed to take control, but we might have mistaken an action. We had to make a decision. It was a final one, yes, but next time we'll know better with the Seven of Wands, okay? What they're trying to do is block your ability to manifest the Ten of Pentacles for yourself. Three of Cups, okay? Because we've been coming together and they don't want that. Message, Coffin, main female. Message, bounty hunter, chase, hot pursuit. We got to get them back in line. What can we do? And you could look at the reverse. Like, we've gotten the message and now they're on the run. But either way, they recognize that they need more control. Lockbox, okay? They need to regain control. Coffin. Coffin, gotta put a stop to this shit. So what if there's some losses, right? That don't fucking mean nothing. Trash, right? Discarding, throwing out, unimportant. The important part is the control. But before we put down that way of communication, before we remove the way they're talking to each other, maybe we should use it to find out who's all involved. Yesterday, I was looking up an address. It was my mother's address, but I was looking for an image. Like, how the Google Maps. Right? Well, child, some other app came up. And this app gave out all the personal information of my mother. Then I went and put my address in. It put all my information. There's apps out there that for free are giving out all your information. And it wasn't Google Earth. But my point is, before it goes down, they're going to get all the info. Know that. Yes, it is very scary. Not only that, when I did mines, it not only showed me, it showed who owned my home before me. And not only that, but where the fuck they live now. Why? Why is that on the internet? Main female with done, lesson completed, okay? And the divine masculine, right? So we're starting to understand how we've been used against each other. You have a lot of divine masculine, especially younger men who are coming to awareness, right? They got to shut that down, right? Because we were easier controlled when we were crushed, sad, broken, feeling alone, right? And then the masculines would look at us like we were drama queens and they'd feel threatened. And, so we need to find a way to silence them and lock them back in, okay? Obsession, because they've got this new obsession for their decalcifying their third eye, for opening to the divine, for ascension, magnetic, unexplainable pull. And this is the new frequency of the earth that is unlocking their second strand DNA, which is like your Akashic records, and you're getting the knowledge of the past. They got to stop that. Okay? Settlement, agreement, compromise. How do we make it look like this is not our agenda? With nightlife, gamble, take a risk, Vegas. Well, we're going to have to do something. Maybe we can cause some type of mass event. Maybe we can make people leave locations. We'll say that that whole area is contaminated or is in lockdown, right? Mass migration, right? Children, you know, if you don't comply with the new who's in charge and the implementation for schools, then you'll be cast as unfit, right? Single, we can break up homes. You must not want them if you don't want to do the right thing, right? We can prevent them from coming together because they're trying to get committed. They're trying to cleanse themselves. So we need to do some type of pop-up to put them back into negotiation mindset where they feel like they need us, bargaining and begging. Okay? Focused, eyes for you, fascinated, watching. And we did that reading about the watchers, and they are watching every reaction that we have. Now I'm going to tell you something else. While I was away, I was putting up shorts. I noticed that the ones that had the hashtag Lovelee Soul Empress were not circulating as much. So I stopped putting it. I feel like they're trying to slow down the algorithm for certain people who are saying certain things. How do I know this? So I've been going to TikTok and putting up the same small videos, and they're going in the hundreds, in the thousands. So why is that? I've been on TikTok for like a month. Love yourself first. Chemistry, and you deserve love. Take my hand. Oh, you don't need to love yourself first. We'll take care of you, right? And then you've got people who are of like minds in this ascension journey who are starting to share information and try to partner up. And how do we prevent that, right? Because they're releasing and letting go, right? We cause them money issues. That's how we do it. We track who their friends are, right? Try to prevent them from cleansing. Or maybe we do a cleanse where we target certain individuals. Chemistry. So we might have to use some chemistry, right? To get them back in line and feel like this is not a problem. Everything is okay, right? And meanwhile, we'll be instituting a new contract where we have sovereign control of what does get put in their bodies, right? And open for love. And they won't object. They'll do what we say because we have control. You deserve love. Right? You deserve love. Gotta have them retreat from this awakening, come back and fall in line, right? Have them have differences between those of like mind, cause disinformation, have certain segments thinking that the medicines are poison, other segments that it's the salvation, have certain segments thinking that there are false flags, other segments thinking it's a tragedy, have other segments believing that there is a flat earth theory, have other segments believing that there's a Gartha has been found, right? Have others, you know, just the fucking list is endless. Dissemination, okay, and of information to cause groups to fight, right? Childhood love, right? Play off of the things that we were taught as children and exploit them passionately, right? right? Also, you know, if people start coming into this frequency of love and understanding what is for them, and tapping in and using the all, right? Then this mass, what's the word, spirit? Mass, like sexual proclivity, right? We're like serial dating and Netflix and chilling, and like we don't believe in love anymore, and the institute of marriage is fucking crumbling, right? Now I'm hearing there's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. So they're trying to keep people in a mind frame that doesn't benefit them, lower frequency, so that they can, you know, prevent the soulmates, keep them in unrequited love so that they can't overcome the odds, and we keep them in illusions. And all along, they don't know who's in bed with who and who's running the show and who's in charge of this motherfucker. We're going to rewrite their love story. We're going to keep that past life blocked away. And if we can do that, then we will keep control and we will live happily ever after. And they don't get to karmically release us. But this bitch here, she got to be put under control. Because she's the one that's planning ahead. She's the one that's whispering in his ear. She's the one who's raising the children and teaching them, right? So if we can get her to have trust issues, maybe she won't spread her message. Okay? Because right now, you know, the divine masculine is starting to give a shit about the kids, right? And, you know, what if we can't tempt him anymore with lust, right? How we're going to keep control, right? So you guys are having an awakening. Let's use the records online of what you're looking at to figure out how to exploit your new continents. Okay? Listen, I just wanted to come through and talk to y'all, because I'm not saying that what happened with those children isn't a tragedy. It tears me up. But I feel like we need to pay attention why other things were not as prominent in the news as they should have been. I feel like giving control to an entity outside of a nation is giving away sovereignty to our own health and our own bodies. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Do some research. If I'm lying, I'm dying, okay? So that's what I have for you guys. I'd just like to say thank you to my returning subscribers for coming through and spending a little time with me. And if you're a new viewer and you felt I resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and comment, as I'd love to have you as part of the Lovelee Soul family. I'm wishing you all light and love. And let me say, any of yous that are in, like, let's say like on Facebook, and you're in horoscope groups or tarot groups or whatever, post my videos in there. Why? Because they're trying to stop my message from getting out. And you guys have the ability to change that, okay? That's what I have for you guys, all right? Wishing you all light and love and blessings on blessings. Namaste, gang, gang. Bye.